face not grinning.
There.
Have any of you ever had the chance to visit a local animal shelter? I know if you haven't, I know you've at least seen the commercials with Sarah McLachlan singing in the background, Arms of the Angels, everything's super sad. Well, you would feel the same way if you actually visited it, believe it or not. It's very sad. A lot of shelters aren't actually healthy and safe for these animals just because they're so overloaded with animals and they don't have that much funding to really take care of them all. So a lot of them, you know, are in their own feces and everything like that, and they just don't have time to give individual care to these animals. Well, I began researching a lot more my freshman year of college. It was my first time to ever actually visit an animal shelter, and whenever I went there, I mean, my heart just fell in love with these poor puppies and these poor cats and all these animals that have just been abandoned and don't have homes. Well, I literally never had a clue about how animal shelters work. So I had no idea that these animals, if they weren't adopted, they're actually put to death. And that completely broke my heart. And so I hope that today I want to try and persuade y'all to adopt from now on instead of shopping for your animals. Listen with open ears and open hearts and consider adopting your next furry animal, furry family member, rather than shopping for them. Okay, so these are I'm going to show y'all a look inside of animal shelters. There's an outstanding number of animal shelters around the United States, and they're all in a desperate need of people like us that are willing to adopt these animals. According to the American, let me show y'all this. So that was also the cats. This is just like what some of the animal shelters look like. According to American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals website, copyright 2017, there is an estimated amount of 13,600 animal shelters nationwide. So that's a lot of animal shelters. 7.6 million companion animals enter the shelter every year. So cats, dogs, mainly. So if you did the math on those, that's roughly 559 animals per shelter. I mean, that's just to give you an idea. Obviously, some are bigger than others, some are smaller, but just to give you like an idea of how many animals we're talking about. So as you can see, like there's absolutely no shortage of these animals, and they need to be saved before it's too late. When I say it's too late, I mean literally, because if they're not adopted in time, they're sent to be euthanized, so in other words, killed. Did it? Yes, it did. According to the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals website, so that's the same website I was talking about earlier, approximately 2.7 million animals are euthanized. So that's a lot of animals, and that's every year. According to the American Humane Nonprofit Organization, copyright 2017, roughly 67% of the total number of animals that enter the shelter are euthanized. So that's over half of the animals are killed that even go into the animal shelters. So if you were to take the time and actually volunteer and visit, you would really even get a better understanding of just how heartbreaking that is to see and think that those animals are about to be killed if they don't get adopted. So with that being said, why would you ever want to shop for your animal again, or have your friends shop for an animal rather than go to an animal shelter and adopt these animals that need this help? So like I mentioned before, whenever I was researching and all of that and visiting and volunteering, I actually found my own dog. And his name's Carl, and believe it or not, I love him just as much as our other 3 dogs that we spent a bunch of money on. And he fits in great, you know, a little bit of a sore thumb, but fits in great with him. According to the Humane Society of the United States website, copyright 2017, 66.7% of dog owners consider their dogs to be family members. And I know that that can relate to everyone here in the audience because y'all are my family, and we look at our animals like us, like each other. They're our brothers and sisters, basically. Okay, this one I wanted to show y'all. I put a little slideshow of Carl. That's my dog that I adopted, and he's so cute. I mean, our other dogs are Maltipoos, so he's That's why I say he's a sore thumb, but he is the best dog, smartest dog. You would have thought we paid money for him, but I adopted him. So think about this. In just 1 year alone, almost 3 million animals will be killed. So with that being said, obviously me telling y'all this, we can't completely fix the number of deaths that happen from these animal shelters, but we could at least help by adopting our next animals, because we aren't ever going to go without an animal. So whenever the time comes that we need a new animal, instead of looking online and shopping for the perfect animal, we can go to an animal shelter and pick out just as perfect as an animal and save their lives. So with that all being said, who's with me? Let's adopt rather than shop for our next animal.
Woo!